Hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I'm here to bring you an anime review on Parasyte episode 19. It feels so good to be able to sit down in my house and actually talk about anime and manga, because if you've been up to date with the recent events, I haven't been at my house for the past like 2.5 days because of no freaking power. So I'm so glad, I'm so happy I could sit down and do a proper Parasyte review. So, this episode, hands down, fucking amazing. I don't know if it's because I'm just so hyped to be able to sit in my room and watch Parasyte or not, I don't know. But it was freaking, just the tension, like the tension of this episode of Parasyte, episode 19 to be exact. It kept building up and building up and building up in this episode, and I was freaking hyped to see where it was going to go. Sadly enough, we get a cliffhanger. Just, as always, come on, we're used to it. We're used to these cliffhangers or Parasyte in... like the ending cliffhanger on this episode, it ends off to where they find a parasite, this female parasite, and then like, oh, the scanner works, and then episode ends, and you hear the ending song. Beautiful ending song, by the way, but episode ends right there, and I'm thinking like, yo, why do you do this shit to me? So, getting into the details, let's actually dive into this episode. So, this episode, for the most part, it is pretty much built up to this operation of discovering where these parasites are. And in the episode, you see where Goto, his workplace and stuff like that's being invaded by this special operation by the government, and they're trying to find parasites, and somehow they've invented a machine that can detect parasites. Here's the question I have with this episode. It brings up a lot of mysteries, like, okay, so this machine can suddenly detect, like, unhuman DNA. Like, if it's not human DNA, it can detect it. So, I wonder, how did they, develop something like this? I mean, I'm just really curious how they managed to develop something like this with this device. I'm guessing they must have captured a parasite in the past, and they experimented on it, and then they were able to discover if it could detect it or not. I'm guessing that's what happened. Hopefully, we get some backstory on that machine, along with actually finding out more about this, other detective dude that came in and was introduced in this episode. Hopefully, we get a little bit more information on him. But anyways, the details of this episode is pretty straightforward. I mean, you have it where Izumi, he has to deal with that convict dude at the beginning of the episode, pretty much speculating that he might, be a parasite. He eventually says, oh, I was just imagining it, that he wasn't human, like, because Migi was asleep. And thank God Migi was, because if Migi was not asleep, Izumi might have been arrested, experimented on, killed, whatever, because he would have been detected. Thank God when, Migi's in his, hibernation mode, the signal that he lets off is weaker than normal. So, I think that's what really saved Izumi in that moment, because, the signal's weaker, that dude's a regular human, so it has to feel a little bit different than the normal parasites. So, pretty much Izumi lucked out. He pretty much lucked out with this episode of Parasyte. So, the convict dude, he is, like, one of the main helpers, it seems, of this arc. Like, this last portion of Parasyte, I'm guessing this dude is going to be a really major player in the series, because a couple of Chibits in the last episode review I did pointed out that this dude was actually foreshadowed in the first episode of Parasyte. Now, I haven't went back myself to actually look at the first episode of Parasyte. Supposedly what a couple Chibits said is that this dude was shown right at the end of the first episode of Parasyte, the convict dude. So, yeah, that's some really good foreshadowing. I have to clap to the mangaka. I don't know who the mangaka of Parasyte is, but that's some really good foreshadowing. I do have to clap for that. So, getting on to the Izumi parts of this episode. So, Izumi goes back to school life. Everything starts winding down in the middle of this episode, and you see how Izumi goes back to school life, and he starts to talk to Morono, and we find out that he will be graduating in 3 months. So he's almost done with his high school life. So I'm guessing the time that Parasyte is done, like this series is done, like right towards the ending, I'm going to take a guess and say if Izumi does not die, like if he does not die as a main character because of whatever's going to happen soon, I'm willing to bet that we're going to get to see him graduate, and, we're probably going to get to see, the epilogue after he graduates and stuff like that. So I can't wait to see the ending conclusion. Speaking of ending conclusion, we only have a couple episodes left, like 5 episodes left. Ugh. I'm not ready for Parasyte to end. I'm really not ready for this series to end, because it feels odd. It feels like we've been watching this series for quite a long time, doesn't it, Chief? It's like, I mean, I felt like I've been watching the series since like half of last year. That's just how long it's felt like I've been sitting down watching the series, and to see how it's going to be coming to end in like less than 5 weeks, it's pretty sad. But regardless of that, the episode's details, though, I mean, you have it to where it's just build-up. That's pretty much what this episode is. Being very simple about it, it's a build-up episode, building up that tension, and Madhouse usually knows how to build up that tension when it comes to series they do when it has psychological elements to it, like, I mean, look at Hunter x Hunter. So this episode, once again, goes to show you those Hunter x Hunter vibes we got from the original series, because that tension in this episode was ridiculous. I can't wait to see what really is going to happen, because, I mean, if parasites are in these groups of people, they're going to probably just hack these people up to get out of there. I mean, that's how they are. They'll use people as, like, some form of body bag or something. But anyways, tell me your thoughts. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.